scheming on God. Looking like I still do fraud. Flying private jet with the rod. This that Z shit. This that Z shit.
What's everybody? My name is Ra, and I'm here with Z. On today's episode of You Can't Sip With Us, we're going to be talking about generational curses. So, grab your drink and make sure you like, comment, and subscribe so we can get started.
Alright guys, welcome back. Of course, we're going to go ahead and get into our mindful moment. So, for my mindful moment, I would say that I'm being really consistent this week, okay? The last few weeks I haven't really been consistent, and I just like, oh, I'll get to it later. But this week I've really been on it, okay? I've been getting this shit done when I said I was going to get it done. I ain't playing no games, especially with this podcast because we got a deadline, period. But yeah, that's mine. What about you?
For me, my mindful moment, I would say, is being 10 days sober from smoking weed. I'm very proud of myself. It's something I've been struggling with for years. So I'm just happy for myself and I'm just proud of myself for committing, and just I thank God for delivering me.
That is good. I know it's hard too.
It's very hard. And that's what we're going to talk about in today's episode, is breaking that generational curse, pattern, whatever you want to call it.
Yes. So let's go ahead. After the mindful moments, we got to get into the drink of the week. So drink of the week for the podcast is going to be a sour cherry margarita. And what you over there sipping on?
So I don't drink, so I'm sipping on some ginger clove tea. And yeah.
Y'all now, okay, it sound nasty, but most of her
really
teas
good.
be good. I ain't gonna
It's really
lie.
good.
She had that one I tasted, it was actually good. I thought it was gonna be nasty.
I enjoy it's very soothing, and I also make herbal remedies, so I have a homemade elderberry syrup that I put in here to sweeten it up, so
That was very close.
it's really good. It's very good for you.
All right, y'all. So that was, of course, the drinks of the week. We're going to go ahead and get into the topic. Of course, we already said it. You know by the title. It's going to be generational curses this week. We're going to go ahead and get into this real touchy subject. It is touchy. We're going to probably get on some nerves. Or we're going to probably check you. You're probably not even going to realize that you were stuck in some kind of cycle that's been going on with your family. But you may listen to this podcast and it may break. But let's go ahead and get into it. So, the first question is, what are some of the generational curses in your family? And if you just want to speak on some, if you guys didn't know, we're related. So she can speak on some of the ones that she's noticed, and then I'll either speak on the different ones or some of the ones that I've noticed.
I feel like it's so many in our family, but I can say the main 3 in our family are just really addiction. Addiction with, first and foremost, weed. I feel like that's a way that our family connects. You know, when we get together, it's a blunt in the air. You know,
every time, no matter where we are.
Grandmother, mother, uncles, the whole family. That's our way of connecting, I've noticed. Alcoholism is another generational curse that I've noticed that has affected our family, and also just not being raised by our mothers. That's something that is a trend in our family, is not having that maternal influence in our upbringing.
I also feel like we're breaking it, but our family is a lot like men focused, or maybe just we're not woke, so we're stuck in the mundane world, and we're not we don't really pay attention to our spirit and stuff like that, and we're like she said, falling into bad patterns, and it just keeps going passed down to generation to generation. But it has to be somebody that's going to break that chain. We're going to talk about it today. That was just some of them, but we're going to get into it a little bit more. So the next question is, have you overcome some of the generational curses in the family?
I feel like I'm overcoming. Nothing is final. It's all still new to me. I'm not going to say nothing is final, because the goal is for it to be final, but it's still so fresh and so new. So I would say I'm still overcoming. I mean, Obviously, I just talked about, my journey with sobriety, and being intentional about no longer smoking weed, because I feel like, for me personally, that's held me back so much. I notice when I'm smoking weed, I'm not being productive. I'm not, my mind is just all over the place. I'm not very focused on elevation. I'm more so just comfortable and, just being stuck in a low vibrational state. So that's something I've been very intentional about. And then also, I don't drink anymore either. I feel like
that is very big in our family. Like, alcoholism. I feel like everybody drinks, including me. But I think the difference between me is I know when enough is enough, and I know, like, if I just know, like, okay, this is not working for me no more, you know what I mean? Like, it's time to let that shit go, and I feel like I'm strong enough to be able to do that. A lot of the people in our family, maybe they just went through so much trauma, or they just went through something, like, very bad that they gotta numb it up, you know what I'm saying? And that just became habit. Like, every time they have something hard, they hit a wall or something like that, it's the obstacle that they gotta get through. It's straight. Yeah, let me drink it out. Let me drink and smoke it out. Let's see what comes after. Or I'm going to just drink and smoke it out every time, and I ain't even going to care. And I'm not even going to deal with it. Some of the things that I've overcome is, I feel like a lot of the women in our family have gotten pregnant young, and they'd be like, around the same age too, which is crazy. So it's like they get pregnant at, I want to say, 19. And then they have a baby by 20, and then all the kids are like 20 years apart, basically, from their parents. Like, my mom, I'm, the firstborn, so I'm 20 years apart from her. I think my uncle is 20 years apart from my grandma. My aunt's kids are 20 years apart, or her oldest one, should I say. It's always the oldest one. Whatever the first child is, they're 20 years apart from them. And it usually happens, like I said, in their 20s. And then they may have kids later on down the life, or they may not. But their first kid is in their 20s. I feel like my uncle kind of beat that, but he's not a woman. I think it's just all the women in the family that have that struggle. Financial stability, learning about that, okay? It's very new. I'm there right now, but it's at the beginnings. A lot of our family, they just don't know finances, period. So that's another thing that I feel like I'm overcoming as well.
And I just feel like, just to touch on that more, I feel like that has held our family back in so many ways. And I feel like that getting pregnant so young just kind of feeds that addiction, because it's like, now you're a baby, trying to raise a baby in this world. You don't have the financial freedom. We're not being raised by mothers. We're not having that stability. So now we are following into the trap of getting into addiction. And I feel like, because I did have my first son, I got pregnant at 19 and had my baby at 20. And I feel like that's definitely when life happened and started. And that is when I started getting heavy into my smoking and using that to cope. And I know as moms, that's what we do, because especially now, I'm a stay-at-home mom of 2 kids, and I mean, it's rough. So I was using every excuse, like, I just need to smoke so I can be all right. Yeah, seriously. But it's just like, it's like, okay, am I even being intentional with the time with my children? Am I smoking? And now we just about to sit up and watch TV all day. I'm not being productive. I'm not really able to be present with my kids. So I feel like, I don't know, a message to any moms out there that feel like, hey, I can't even be the best mom that I could be without smoking. Take a step back and realize, like, okay, what am I trying to accomplish, but also what am I trying to suppress? What feelings am I trying to suppress with this weed? Address the real issue. Maybe get into therapy, start talking about it. You may be dealing with postpartum depression. Because a lot of people feel like, oh, I made it, I'm 1 month postpartum and I'm good. For me personally, postpartum depression didn't kick in until about 6 months after. Because it's 6 months of sleepless nights. It's 6 months of the stress of dealing with a kid. In the beginning,
you can do it.
Yeah, it's still new, it's still fun. So I don't know. I just wanted to say that, just like as a mom or a parent in general, if you feel like, hey, man, I need this drink. It's been a long day. I got to go deal with these kids. Don't pass on those generational curses to your children. Address the real issue. Get down to the real deep root of the problem. Because I promise, once you get to the real deep root of the problem, you're no longer going to want to use these substances to shut yourself down. Because you're operating in a low vibrational state and you're operating from a shadow aspect of yourself. So
you're trying to hide something. Not hide, like you said, suppress.
Suppress.
You're trying to suppress something. So just bring it let it come to the forefront, deal with it head on, and learn how to cope with it. Then you won't need, like she said, you won't need all those substances or whatever your vice may be. You won't need it anymore.
Porn addiction.
You could be, you know what I'm saying? You can turn that into something productive or creative. You need to just put that out. Porn addiction.
Somebody needs to hear.
No, for real, it's true out there. Like, dang. You gotta get it together. There are sex addicts. I'm just saying.
Seriously.
We have some in our family, I feel like. So, yeah, we gotta get that together.
Yeah.
The next question is, where would you even begin to start working on these problems?
I think, personally, just acknowledging that it's a problem.
You gotta figure out the problem.
Figure out the problem. Acknowledge, like, okay, I might be addicted. Okay, this is something that I see is in my family and it's not working. Everybody's stuck. Everybody's stagnant. Everybody, whatever the, addiction or whatever may be.
We was just talking about earlier, me with nicotine. I was vaping. And I ain't gonna say real bad, but I guess you gotta be real bad. But like everybody that vapes out there know, when you lose your vape and you cannot find your vape immediately and you looking and you start freaking out because you ain't got the vape and you start going off on people because you ain't got the vape, it's a problem. That happened with me. I told my friend, I was like, listen, you got to see what happens when niggas ain't got their vape. And it's just like, girl. But overall, I found it, but that was the moment for me that made me realize, like, that's kind of fiendish behavior. Like, I look like a crackhead, low-key, like, looking for this vape. Like, it's just not like that, y'all. I'm just saying. Me personally, I felt fiend out. Yes, I felt fiend out, and I just felt like, for nicotine is crazy, and it's already not good for you. So, yeah, I just took it upon myself, and it was really hard. I had to just cut back on it. Like, I couldn't just go cold turkey. That wasn't going to happen. But I just had to like cut back on it, and then that's also willpower. But first thing, I identified the problem. I didn't like it, and I decided and I put forth the effort and the intentions to stop it intentionally. Like I started smoking the vape less. I would start leaving it in my car instead of like bringing it in with me to work and stuff like that. So I'm not just like sitting there, it's in my pocket. I can just hit it real quick in the corner or something, or go to the bathroom real quick. It's in the car, so I don't even, you know what I'm saying, I can't even think about that. Now, I did reach for it a few times, the first couple of weeks, but after it just got normal. Then after that got normal, I started leaving it at home to where I don't even got it in the car. Like, I can't even hit it after work, and y'all know you be needing to hit it after work. I can't even do that, but yeah, it just got like that. And then I replaced it with weed. That's just me. But I'm legal wherever I'm at. I'm legal, okay? So it's not just like illegal smoking. But yeah. And then, shit, I barely smoke weed now. Barely smoke weed. Don't vape anymore. I don't even really vape the weed pen. I just don't like the way it makes me feel. Cough. I don't like not being able to breathe. And that's what I noticed. I noticed when I was vaping, I couldn't breathe like that. Like I was struggling to breathe. Just felt like heavy. Like mucus in my lungs and stuff like that. As soon as I stopped vaping, immediately I could breathe again. I'm not coughing like I'm a cigarette smoker or something like that. But it's just certain things that you just gotta do. You just, like she said, identify the problem, set your intentions to fix the problem, and follow through. Once you do that, that's pretty much it. It's gonna be hard. It's not easy. It's gonna be hard, but it's the intention part.
And I feel like also find you a higher power that's going to help hold you accountable and, whatever makes you a good person. Yeah, pray, We
pray over here.
We pray, for sure. But I know everybody, everybody's on their own journey. But I will say, find you a higher power because that's the only thing that's going to get you through. You cannot handle. You cannot break addiction on your own. I'm here to say it. No matter how many times that we say, okay, I'm done this time, the human flesh is weak. You have to call on God to help deliver you from the things that you need deliverance with. Seriously, because I would be a fool to sit here and say that being stuck, that sin is uncomfortable. I was very comfortable in my sin. Yeah, I was very comfortable. I still have the cravings. I still have the urges. But every day I have to remember, like, okay, thank you, God, for delivering me. And why would I disappoint myself for giving into this temptation when I've already been delivered? God has done his part, her part, universe. And now it's my turn to hold up my end of the agreement. So I feel like definitely finding you a higher power, finding you something something outside of yourself that's going to hold you accountable, because you can't do it alone.
Are some curses just bound to happen? Like there's no change in it, it's set in stone, it is like that? Like even if you were to fix it, maybe it'll like skip you and then go on to, your children or something like that. Like, do you feel like that's just bound to happen? Or is there something that you could do to change it? I feel like energies can change for sure, but I do also believe in God's plan. So if that is just, bound to happen, it was written in stone, and it was just written in stone. You just gotta do it.
I agree as well. I feel like that just is a topic in itself, because curses literally have been placed on people's families. Mm-hmm. Witchcraft and, stuff like that. It's very real.
Back in the day.
You know what I'm saying? And just even us now, we curse, oh, she ain't gonna be shit. She gonna be just like her daddy. Power of the tongue is real. So we continue to curse, our family, friend, people, we continue to curse. So I feel like everything can be broken, but like you said, everything is going to happen the way it's needed to. So I feel like the intention is just to be aware of it. Mm-hmm. It's nothing that we can't control what's been passed on to us. All we can control is what we pass on to our kids. And that's why I say it's so important to do the work on yourself, because the bloodline is going to be restored. But it's either you're going to do that work or you're going to pass some trauma down to your children and they're going to do that work. But either way, the bloodline has to be restored and made new. So I feel like everything does happen for a reason, and things will be passed down. But it doesn't have to be doom. Mm-hmm. It don't have to be, oh, she drinking, this is, it don't
She's going to be alcoholic all her life.
No, because God delivers. Mm-hmm. And at the end of the day, we all have a testimony. We all have a story. So it's important not to continue to curse people and, use the power of your tongue in a way that's going to condemn somebody. It's important to speak life over your family, yourself, and just keep yourself protected, so that way these things shall pass and God is able to come in and work.
How do you feel like generational curses affect you?
So many ways. Where do I even start? For me personally, I felt like I really dealt with being a very hypersexual individual, especially as a teenager, young. Mm-hmm. I'm only 23 and I have 2 children, which, don't get me wrong, they are both by the same man. Yeah, my fiance, we've been together since I was 17, but before that, I did have a past of hypersexuality, and I definitely know I get that from my mother. She's a very hypersexual woman. She owns her sexuality. And that's something that I don't want to just tell her business, but I feel like it's needed. I wish she was here, because so many things that were done while conceiving me play a big role in the feelings and emotions and the actions and the life circumstances that I went through as I'm growing into the woman that I am, because I came from her womb, and her mother's womb was hypersexuality, just very male-centered.
Yeah.
And that definitely has affected me in ways that I'm not proud of it. Everything made me who I am, and ultimately I'm proud of the woman that I am now, but I'm not proud of my past, and I definitely feel like that's something that was passed on, just being very male-centered. The smoking, the bad-mouthing, not having respect for men. My mom has that very badly, and I didn't think it was anything wrong with it, because before we all quick nigga, you know what I'm saying? No respect
real
for
bad.
men.
Don't care who you are.
That's not okay. And it's not okay.
I had to learn it the hard way.
Yeah. Seriously, that's something that I had bad. It's just feeling like, oh, I don't need nobody, or just
I don't need nobody. You need somebody.
You need somebody.
Maybe not a man, but you need somebody.
We all need somebody. So I feel like those are the most prominent. Definitely, I feel like that's something that has hit me very heavily, and I feel like that's why I haven't had a daughter, because it's still things that I'm working through, and a lot of cleansing that needs to be done on the womb. So that way I don't pass that on to my daughter.
I feel like that is why there's no girls.
There's no girls.
There's no girls right now, like at all.
Yeah, because our family is gonna heal, and the story has not ended yet, and it unfortunately it started off a little rough. Which I'm not even gonna say that, because we have great ancestors that are not acknowledged, that were in a place of peace, and very powerful, sacred medicine women that we do come from, but somewhere along the lines, drug addiction happened, molestation, and things of the sort. So we're making our way back.
Trauma,
lots of trauma.
And then it's kind of weird because you have two parents, but I just feel like my trauma and everything that I know and everything that I have to work on from here on out came from my mom's side of the family. Mm-hmm. And it's like growing up watching it, thinking like, oh yeah, that's normal. And that's normal. We all drink it. Well, no, I ain't gonna say we all, because we just wasn't just as kids just fucking drinking and smoking.
But we did. We were allowed to drink at a young age, just taste it or whatever. Things that are not normal or appropriate.
That's certain things. And you grow up like, my friend ain't never had a taste of alcohol until they was maybe 18 or something like that. And it's a different upbringing. It was very different. We was raised, I ain't even gonna say we was raised on our own, but it was basically like, I remember always being at the house. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? By myself, or not by myself. Me and Raw always at the house by ourselves. So it was just all like, that I thought was normal. Like, I just be watching my sister, you know what I mean? No, I can't go outside after school. We got to go straight home because my mama don't hate that shit. But it's like, you know what I mean? And granted, she was out working, doing what she had to do, but still, I don't know. It's just, certain things that I personally would not want for my kids. Wouldn't want my kids to even see no stuff like that. And like you said, very sexual. I had a situation where I done walked in on my mom having sex. I'm like busted out, just threesome, like in middle school, and I just got a baby on my hip. Not mine, but like my god sister, and it's like 2-3 o'clock in the morning, and she crying, so you gotta get some milk. And then that's what I just walk in on, like fucking just that. And I'm just like froze, like in disgust, don't know what I know what I'm looking at, but I'm just like, what the fuck am I looking at? You know what I mean? Like,
mind you, this is not sexual activity with our father or anything. This is us being exposed to her hypersexuality, with us always being around different men that my mom is messing around with, so.
And and that was just crazy to me, and I just didn't know what to do. I didn't say nothing. They didn't even see me, hear me, nothing. I just went back to the room, put the baby down on the bed. I went to the bathroom and slammed the fucking door. Like, what the fuck was that? Like, what the fuck was that? I didn't even do nothing. I just pretended to use the bathroom. Got out. By the time I got out, everybody was gone. And she wanted to try to have a conversation with me. And then I guess she always says to this day, like, because I said, you will regret that or something. Like, you'll remember that or something is what I told her. And then she feels like us being taken away from her was a curse from that, from what I had said. And I'm like, girl, these are your actions. Like, at the end of the day, you can't blame me for nothing, like, at all. I'm speaking my truth and my experience, and you're feeling some type of way about it because you're embarrassed. But, yeah, I just feel like that is just some stuff that, like, you know, that was back when we were doing, like, week to week and stuff like that. So it's like, you could have done that while we weren't there, but you chose to do that while you had 3 kids in the house on a school night. So it was just crazy to me. Like, shit like that was just wild. But
that just goes back to, first of all, babies having babies, no guidance, no structure, and just her not even having a good example. Her not having a mother, period. Her mother was on drugs.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
There.
So she don't know what it is to be we come from very traumatized, I guess, women. Very hard bodied.
Sexualized, like you said. I feel another thing, the women in our family were all strippers. Even the and the uncle, all of them, probably not at the same time or at the same club. I'm just saying. You know what I mean? Like, what kind of shit is that?
Well, we're fortunate that did not fall into our destinies.
Yes.
But I wanted to speak on this too, is just epigenetics. You know, things that traumatizing events that have happened in our parents' life or their grandparents' life can change the way our genes express themselves. So I say that to say, before I was born, my father had, he was married, and him and his wife suffered a lot of miscarriages. They weren't able to have any kids. Every time she got pregnant, the baby died. So that's a fear of him. Fast forward, he's now with my mother, and he wants a child, which of course he raised my sister, but he's wanting a child with, you know, his
blood.
Not it. No, this just goes back to epigenetics and traumas and experiences that our parents and ancestors have gone through change the way our genes express themselves. So sometimes the fears, the addictions, the thoughts, the things that we think and things like that aren't even our own thoughts. We may inherit that from our parents, like, oh, I'm not good enough. Maybe that's how your parents were feeling whenever they were conceiving you or pregnant with you. I'm not good enough. I'm suicidal. I'm just not going to be shit. So now you inherited those thoughts as well. And I say that because I have a story I wanted to tell about my own situation. So my father, he was previously married before he met my mother. Him and his wife were having some fertility issues, and every time she got pregnant, the baby would pass away. She was not able to have a full-term pregnancy. Of course, this is traumatizing for someone. So he carried that trauma and pain into his new relationship with my mother. And as they were conceiving me, of course, he has this fear of not wanting to be intimate with my mother because he's afraid of her miscarrying me. So this goes to when I have my kids now, I had this fear of, okay, I don't want the baby to pass away. I'm having this irrational fear, you know, but it scarred me. And of course, for any mother, it's the fear of losing the baby. But I feel like I inherited this from my father's fear of when I was being created of losing the baby. So I just feel like a lot of the things, thoughts, like my mom, she never finished college or anything. I'm somebody that wants to go to college, but I have this own limiting belief that I placed on myself, like, oh, I'm not good enough and I'm not going to be able to finish. I'm not smart enough. These are not even my own thoughts. I know I'm intelligent. I know I can do it. But here's this part of me that, you know, just doubts that are not even mine, but it's up to me to break this generational curse of the limiting beliefs, of the doubts, of the negative thoughts. So I feel like it's important to get to know your parents very well, get to know your elders, your family members, see what was going on around the time you were conceived, see what state of mind your parents were in, see what actions, because a lot of the things that you may be going through, like me and my mom have situations so parallel with her relationship with my dad. Same situation has been acted out with me and my fiance. Like it's so important to talk to your parents, and I know unfortunately everyone isn't able to have that opportunity. And for those, I empathize, and I know, it's not really much you can do but notice the patterns and do the work. But for those that are fortunate enough to have the elders around, have your parents around, speak to them, because this is where you come from. You know what I'm saying? These are the folks that made you. These are the thoughts that made you. These are the actions that made you. So ultimately, you are a product of whatever they were going through at that time. That's what made you. So it's important to get to know where you come from on a deep level, so that way you can be aware of temptations and addictions you may fall into, because that's just, unfortunately, the cards you were dealt. So I just want to say that. Just get to know where you come from, because that plays a big role in where you're going to go.
It's like a person that like their ancestors back in the day, like you said, like maybe the way that they were doing or something like that.
I think God curses it. I think God allows the devil to come in your life and tempt you, because that's an opportunity for faith to grow, and that's an opportunity for you to prove that you're faith. But me personally, I don't believe that. But my belief and understanding of God is different from a lot of people's anyway.
Yeah.
So, not necessarily, but I do believe that earth is training ground for our souls. Earth is school for the soul. So we're going to come here, we're going to go through shit, and we're going to learn. And that's how our souls elevate. I mean, life would not be life if we didn't go through things. At the end of the day, if everything was just all peaches and cream, we could have stayed in the spirit. You know what I'm saying? We come here to go through things, to learn, to elevate, to connect, for God, because at the end of the day, God is us. We are an expression of God. So God created us to experience each other in life and learn and evolve. So I wouldn't say, oh, you going through crack addiction because God was mad at your granny for being like, I don't believe that's what it is. So,
but yeah, like you said, you gotta go through whatever you gotta go through. I feel like, yeah,
because it makes you, at the end of the day, you have the choice to either let life make you or break you. Because if you endure and you persevere and you work through everything that you're going to work through, God has promised a great life. You know what I'm saying? You're never going to be left in the cold unless you make the decision to stay down and continue to act in ways that you know are not for the benefit of you or your family. Then, of course, your life is going to go downhill, because you're making decisions that are making your life go downhill. So I don't think nobody is doomed. I say anybody that's on a spiritual journey anyway is on a healing journey. It don't have to be like, I'm not going to say, oh, you have to be spiritual. You can't be Christian in order to, you know what I'm saying? I feel like anybody that's on a journey of healing, you have to be on a journey of healing in order to break the generational curses. I do feel like there has to be, some type of, like I said, one outside of yourself.
Do you feel like every family at least has a generational curse, or just maybe like just certain people?
I think so. I mean, I think that's what makes us human.
Because I feel like everybody got something.
Everybody's going through something.
Or their family is fucked up in a way somehow. Like, yeah, you may have like all the money or whatever, but your dad is on drugs, or your dad is screwing your nanny.
Like seriously, yeah. No, I don't think nobody is perfect, and I think every family does have their taboos for sure. And I feel like there is, what's the word that I'm trying to say? Scapegoat. I feel like every family has a scapegoat, someone that is going to fall victim to whatever curse it is. And I feel like I hate to say the sacrifice, but I don't know, I've noticed this pattern, and I'm not too educated. I haven't done much research on it, but I have noticed this pattern of people in the family being used to allow this generational curse to express itself in order for the others to be able to elevate. I'm not really 100% sure, but it is something that I've noticed, that it's always some type of sacrificial lamb in the family that unfortunately just kind of falls victim to the family's traumas.
How far back can you trace the family trauma? I can only do it to
Yeah.
well, maybe I guess great
I don't really know our family.
yeah, I mean, she be like telling us, but I remember like her mom. I was like, I was a kid, so I was just like old and like kind of scary.
Yeah.
Just because they just like old, and I'm just like, yay high.
Yeah, I honestly can't tell you. I mean, like, I know my grandmother's mother was an alcoholic and left her kids, and I know that her mother didn't raise her. That's all I know. You know,
That's what I'm
the
saying.
maternal
I
side
can go back to them.
goes. They were all very promiscuous women, either had a drinking problem, drug problem, but none of them were raised. I'm honestly not sure. Unfortunately, I don't really know much about the ancestors in our family. The only things that I know are things that I'm shown in dreams. No, my dad, I mean, he don't even talk much about his mother. His dad wasn't in his life. You know, he just found out him and his dad's father share the same birthday. You know, so he don't know anything, unfortunately, about his family. So, I mean, like I said, he don't even barely know. I'm not gonna say he don't know nothing about his mama, but he doesn't speak about her. She passed away, so I know that's a trauma for him. You know, he don't have no parents anymore.
And then, like, I don't even think they're close as siblings either. Like, they live far. The girls live together, but he's just, like, out here on his own.
On his own. And that just hurts my feelings.
No, I'm saying, it's kind of sad.
It is, because...
Yeah, he's the baby.
Yeah. I hate that for him, because he's such a family person. And maybe this is a generational curse for him. I mean, maybe his dad, you know, like, didn't have his dad, or maybe he was alone. Who knows?
We're the ones, that's why
Yeah.
I feel like life is so hard. Like, like, not even like that, but like,
We're forced to learn.
through some
Yeah.
shit. Like,
And we have to pick ourselves up every time. And when she's had it, you know, more rough than I have, she's definitely had to get it out the mud for real by herself. So, but I do feel like it has been up to us to teach us the things that we know, and to, I'm not going to say raise ourselves, because I feel like we were financially taken care of. But when it comes to principles and, you know, things like that, I definitely feel like navigating the world, it has been up to us to kind of figure out on our own what kind of person we want to be in this world, because we didn't have the examples. We didn't have the teachings from mother to daughter, that rites of passage of becoming a woman. We just kind of had what we don't want to be like and what we not going to end up like. So we use that to teach ourselves to be the women that we're growing into today.
I just feel like they be taking that to be like, well, at least I did something, but it's like,
I did this.
no, for real.
Me and my therapist. Me and them long nights.
Hear me.
Crying.
Yeah, it's what did that. You ain't have shit to do with that. Like you said, he was every example of what not
To
to
do.
do.
And that's not a knock at all. I don't want.
They
I know
didn't
my
know.
mama's gonna watch this and be in her feelings.
They didn't know. I know that now, and that's just how you are. But at some point in time, you just gotta change. And You just gotta get it together.
Because that's true. You can't just make an excuse like, "Hey, this is how I've been my whole life, so just love me." No.
Because I'm gonna love you regardless. But like you said, boundaries. Like that's not what's gonna happen.
And I just want to say to whoever's watching this, you know, don't allow the things that you've been through to keep you bound. Use your experiences, use your hurt, use your pain, and alchemize that energy. Use that pain to fuel you, to be like, okay, I never want my kids to experience this. Let me make sure I'm doing everything that I can to make sure my kids never have to go through this. Be intentional about breaking those generational curses. Be intentional if your mama whooped your ass, with switches and belts and used to get beat on. Be intentional about sitting your kids down and having those conversations. Okay, I done had a drink, let me make sure, I'm good. I don't want my kids seeing me drunk. I don't want to continue that generational pattern of having to clean my mama up because she drunk and I'm taking care of her. Just be intentional. Even if you're not a mother, be intentional and make yourself the best version of yourself that you can to be an example for your family, because I feel like that's the goal and the mission that we're on now, is just to be the example that we wish we had. And that's going to look different for us. But at the end of the day...
And I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm excited for it.
Be the woman, the man, that you wish you had growing up. Be intentional. Get into therapy.
It's not just for white people.
It's not. It's really not. I mean, find you somebody that you're comfortable with, but get into therapy. It's important. It's important to have somebody that can hold you accountable, because I know a lot of us, it's hard. The people around us sometimes don't want to hold us accountable, and they don't want to hurt our feelings, so they are going to continue to enable us. So it's important to have that outside perspective of someone that literally is getting paid to see you elevate. So they're going to call you out on your BS. They're going to notice and pick up on patterns and things that she wouldn't pick up on, mannerisms and, I'm not, just certain things. It's important to get into therapy. If you don't take nothing else from this video.
We need strong black men out here in the household together. That's what we was talking about last episode. This generation, this why 20-year-olds, 30-year-olds don't know how to change a tire, don't know how to check the oil, mow the lawn, tie a tie, you know what I mean? Don't know what a suit is, like a custom-made suit or just even a regular suit. They don't know because the black man wasn't in the house. So it's like we need black men, or just men, period. Not just black men, but men, period, in the house, in teaching their kids that, because they was all raised by single moms.
Mm-hmm. And this is a message to that single mom. Allow that man to be a father to his children. Don't allow your hurts and your pain and things that y'all may have been through affect the relationship that he may. Hopefully if he's trying to actively pursue a relationship with his children, don't make it hard on him because of your own hurts and your own pains. Let that man be a father to his children, and vice versa. If a man's in the position, my baby mama, I don't like her, she's not a good example, whatever. Allow children to be raised by their parents. But especially, because like I said, that's a generational pattern that I fell victim to. And, me and my son's father, we used to be at it because it was like my mouth. You know what I'm saying? We both had bad attitudes in my mouth. I was going to get reckless. Don't piss me off, because I'm not going to hit you. And I feel like sometimes that's what we do. I'm not going to yell at you. I'm not going to hit you. But I'm going to say something to you that I know is going to piss you off in the worst way that I know how to do it. And it's like, why? That's a generational curse that people need to be intentional about, because we're breaking up families. We're breaking up homes because of our own traumas and things that we've seen our mothers do that we are now deeming acceptable. It's never acceptable to tear somebody else down because you're upset. Just be intentional about everything that you're doing.
Do you feel like it's selfish to distance yourself from toxic family members or friends or anything like that? Like, say you recognize a pattern, say it's a homegirl or something like that. She only come around if I'm providing the weed and the drink or something like that. Or they only come around when it's this, or, you know what I mean? Or certain things. And then you just seeing or they will put you in a situation oh dang, we done got into a shootout by accident one time with this girl.
And it's always something with her.
You know what I mean? Do you feel like that's toxic, wrong or something like that? I don't feel like it is
I
either.
don't feel like, how can it be?
You trying to save yourself. If it's always something, you just gotta go.
Protect your peace at all costs. Now, what I will say is don't get caught up in setting boundaries in a way. Set healthy boundaries. Don't get caught up in just setting boundaries just to. You know what I'm saying? Just, don't Don't ask me for nothing. You done called me twice this week. I don't want to hear it. Because at the end of the day, we are here to be here for each other. But if it's in a way that somebody is putting you in situations that are compromising your morals and, stuff like that, then of course set that healthy boundary. I don't think it's ever wrong for you to stand up for yourself, because that's where people pleasing comes in. Because now you're just accepting anything because you don't want to cut this person off, even though you've outgrown them. You don't want to cut this person off. You don't want to say no. And now you're feeling some type of way and you're in situations that you never would have even wanted to be in. So speak up for yourself.
Do you feel like forgiving like your past, or maybe like the people that did that plays like a big role in being able to, I guess, like move on, or maybe like grow from that and like learn like, hey, I want to pass that on to my kids, or I want friends that's out here doing this and that, and stuff like that. Like if you have a friend that's out here just doing coke, and every time I go out, she just gotta, you know what I'm saying, I just gotta go to the bathroom. You know what I mean? Or something like that. Or it's been like way too many times where like she maybe like threw up on herself, or, I don't know. I'm just saying, I never like that. But I'm just, there's times and I'll be hearing stories.
I just want to gain a deeper understanding of the question.
Do you think it's forgiving for your family, or it's more like for the friend, or you just like cutting the friend off?
I mean, definitely cut that friend off.
My preacher gotta go.
But I'm honestly still learning forgiveness. I feel like forgiveness is important, because without it, your heart is still holding on to the hurts and the pains. But seriously, I do feel like forgiveness is essential in order to truly learn the lesson I feel like everything is a lesson or a blessing. Or I feel like every lesson ends up being a blessing anyway. But I do feel like forgiveness is essential in order to truly understand the lesson that you needed to learn from the situation. Otherwise, you're going to keep repeating the same cycle because you're still holding on to that. What do you think? What's your relationship with forgiveness? I mean, how do you...
I feel like, me personally, when I forgive somebody, I just recognize them for who they are. Mm-hmm. And I just move forward. Like, I just, you know what I'm saying? I know how to move from then out. For it's like family or whatever, I know like I'm going to have to be cordial at the end of the day. But it's just like, rather like, oh, I'm going to be like, oh, hey, I need this, and that, or guess what happened today, or you know what I'm saying, like venting and stuff like that. Like it would never be the same. It would just be like, that's my people. So you know what I mean? That's pretty much it.
And when I say what's your relationship with forgiveness, I mean know that you've forgiven someone, or how do you go about forgiving? Is there a conversation to be had, or are you doing release rituals, or like just how do you...
I feel like I write a letter. And I don't have to like send it or nothing like that. But once I write it down, it's done. It's off my mind. I'm not gonna say I don't really too much care about it no more. I won't forget it. That's what I'm trying to say. But I just write down. And I was like, okay.
And you feel like once you made the letter, your heart is free now. Cool.
I did that. I did that recently, and it actually worked. And I've been in a better place now. Mm-hmm. With one, I haven't done it with another person that I need to do it with. I feel like that's probably why I'm still got some, but I feel like once I do that, then I feel like I'll be alright. What ways can therapy or counseling help with trying to heal? It would help.
Cool as it. Therapy helps with acknowledging the issue, because sometimes we don't realize when something is a problem until someone else is like, hold on, wait, that's not actually normal. Mm-hmm. So I feel like it just helps to have that outside perspective. Like I said, someone that's not there to judge, someone that's not going to take your problem to the next person.
So I feel like that was basically all the questions for today. How do you feel like you got?
I don't really have anything to add. I mean, I feel like I've been pretty consistent with what I'm trying to get out. It's just therapy, being intentional, and just raising the consciousness of the collective, because at the end of the day, we are the new adults. We are the new parents. Break those generational curses. Acknowledge if there are addictions or if there are bad habits and patterns that you are noticing within yourself or within the family. Talk about it. I feel like a lot of things, especially in our community, go untalked about, and we just kind of try to sweep shit under the rug. And it's a lot of conversations that are needing to be had that are not being had because of uncomfortableness. So I feel like talk to your family. That's really just the biggest thing that I have to. The message I really want to get across is talk to your family, figure out where you come from, because that's the beginning of everything. And use that information and apply it to your life in ways that can help heal you. Because at the end of the day, you don't have to be a victim to your environment. You are a product of your environment, but you don't have to fall victim. Use that energy, use the things that you've been through to make you a greater person, and don't allow that to push you further into causing more trauma for your bloodline. Because like I said, the bloodline has to be cleansed, and order to reset is making its way back to this earth realm. So either you're going to do the work or your kids are going to do the work. And if your kids have to do the work, I promise you, you're not going to have the relationship that you would like to have with your children, because they're going to resent you.
All right, y'all. So that was the end of the question. So we're going to go ahead and get into the Reddit portion segment of the episode, where we just read some stories off of Reddit about the situation. So let's go ahead and get into it. So someone said, are generational curses biblical? If so, where is it in the Bible? Sometimes I wonder if there's one in my family. My family is very poor. I grew up poor, but I went to college and I worked hard. Yet I still can't seem to find success. I don't want to be rich or anything crazy. I just want to drive happy. But also just be bummed out because I have a job I feel today that I didn't get the position. Anyways.
I feel like maybe you're limiting yourself. And that's the generational curse. Maybe you're limiting yourself. Maybe you're meant to be the first CEO and business owner in your family, and that's why you keep getting denied and rejected and feeling like, okay, this is a curse on the family, because you're not actualizing your full potential.
Yeah, because whatever your field is, why aren't you doing it yourself? Or
exactly.
Maybe you gotta, you know what I'm saying, work for somebody else, maybe lower, you know what I'm saying, just to get to where you want to be, or just to, you know what I'm saying, fund that. Maybe you gotta get 2-3 jobs to do whatever you gotta do. Is that there? But yeah, it just sounds like you say, you're limiting yourself. You gotta strive for some more.
You deserve more. Yeah, you deserve more. And maybe you need to address, okay, in what ways am I limiting myself? In what ways do I feel like maybe I don't deserve anything good? That's the real problem. Do you feel like you deserve a good life? Or do you feel like, okay, my family, this is where I come from, so this is what I'm going to be? That's the real question.
Okay. So it says, I'm having a hard time believing or understanding generational curses. It doesn't make sense that someone would suffer for something that someone did 100 years ago simply because you were born into the same bloodline. And even if you were spiritually progressed and overcome what your 3 times great uncle did, how does that help with his progression? And I feel like, it doesn't, because they're going to do what they want to do, but it helps with yours, because you would now know that wasn't normal, or that's not, you know what I'm saying, that needs to be done, and you'll figure it out. Like, yes, you want to pass that on to your kids, like you said, and they will have to figure that out, or if they don't, the next ones will have to figure that out, and it'll just keep going down the line until someone's there. But you just have to decide whether or not you want to do that.
I actually have a different take on it. I do feel like it does affect your great whoever, so the ancestors, because I do believe that the ancestors lived through us. We are them, they are us. And a lot of our ancestors didn't have opportunities to do the things that we're doing now. And for example, witches, medicine women, the family, the lineage we come from, were killed and burned at the stake because we were using the herbs and we were deemed as evil and things. So our ancestors live through us now in this day and age to be able to express ourselves in the way that they wish they would have. I feel like the ancestors live through us and that any progress that we make helps their soul elevate in a way as well. Because I feel like any work that we do is elevating the bloodline in general. That's my belief. I mean, I know everybody is different. I do believe in reincarnation, and I do believe that they will be back again in any work that we do. They will come back and be able to reap the benefits of it when they decide to return, if they decide to return and show up as another soul in the bloodline.
Abuse for men. I've never had the strength to break away from my own. A year into a critically abusive marriage, I got pregnant and knew immediately I had to run to protect my baby. I can see why this continues on for generations. When you finally break free, it's like the universe is punishing you. My daughter is 3 now, and I never thought my life would be this difficult post-abuse. But we're free, and she will be equipped with the tools no other woman in my family has ever been. So I feel like, yeah, maybe hard. I feel like she's being punished. But yeah, it's gonna be hard for sure. She'll be equipped with everything.
A strong woman, protected your child. Being a mother in general is not easy, let alone a single mother. So it's going to be hard. At the end of the day, and you will create a beautiful life for your child, or you won't, and she'll create a beautiful life because she'll take the trauma that you passed down. So it's up to you.
So that was all for today's episode.
I mean, I feel like our community needs more education on generational things. And I'm just happy to be here to just share my perspective. And, I just pray that this message reach somebody and that this podcast can help someone that is young, just like this, or older. I just pray that this message really reaches the people it needs to reach and allows them to do the introspection, to start evaluating themselves and their family and just doing the work to free your bloodline.
All right, y'all. So that is all for today's episode. We finally made it to the end. Again, we do have our guest, Ra. Go ahead and let them know where they can find you at.
Yes, you guys can find me on TikTok and Instagram at Evolve with Ra. That is RAH. And stay tuned because if you're in the Oklahoma City area, I do host lots of women's circles. I do make plant medicine and just overall wellness in general. So if you would like to see more of me and hear more of my perspective and my voice, follow me on social media and I'll love to have you.
Yes, and we loved having you here today.
It's a pleasure.
Your input for sure.
It's been a pleasure.
We're going to see you guys later. Next episode for sure. See ya.